settle in now and let the room around you become quiet. Tonight, we board a night train in Switzerland. Just as evening settles over the city and the station lights begin to glow against the glass roof, we will travel slowly into the Alps, through valleys, tunnels, bridges, dark rivers, snowy villages, and high mountain passes, while the train carries us safely through the night. This is not a journey that asks anything from you. There is no need to hurry, no need to plan the route, no need to keep track of every place. The train knows the way. The rails are steady beneath it. The compartment is warm. Outside, the mountains are waiting in moonlight and snow. Before we begin, if you enjoy quiet sleep stories like this, you can subscribe for more calm journeys, peaceful travel stories, and relaxing bedtime narration. You can also leave a comment and tell us where you are listening from, what time it is where you are, and what peaceful place you would like to visit next. It is always wonderful to see how far these stories travel around the world. Now, get comfortable, let the room around you grow quiet, and allow the journey to begin. The station is bright in the soft blue of evening. High above the platforms, the old iron and glass roof catches the last color of the sky. The panels reflect rows of lamps, electric signs, and the slow movement of people crossing the polished stone floor. Outside the station, the city is beginning to lower its voice. Trams slide along wet streets. Shop windows glow warmly. Bicycles stand locked beneath awnings. Somewhere nearby, a church bell marks the hour, and the sound is softened by the damp air. It has rained lightly through the afternoon. The platforms shine with a thin silver reflection. Drops still cling to the edges of signs and benches. The air carries the scent of rain, metal, coffee, wool coats, and the faint mineral smell that always seems to live near railway tracks. It is not cold yet, not in the city, but the mountain cold is already waiting farther along the line. You stand near the departure board with a small bag beside you. Around you, travelers move calmly. A woman in a long coat reads from her phone beneath the clock. A man with a suitcase drinks coffee from a paper cup. Two students speak quietly beside a vending machine. A railway worker walks past in a dark uniform, his footsteps steady and practiced. Above the platform entrance, your train appears on the board. Night service through the Alps. The letters glow softly, not demanding attention, simply announcing that the journey is ready. You follow the signs down the platform. The train waits under the station lights, long and dark, its windows glowing with warm rectangles of amber. The locomotive rests at the front, quiet but alive, with a low electric hum. Along the side of the carriages, small destination plates shine beside each door. The sleeper cars look more private than ordinary trains, as though each window contains a small room already separated from the world outside. A conductor stands beside one of the doors. He checks your ticket, nods, and gestures you inside. The step up from the platform into the carriage is small, but it feels like crossing a threshold. The sound of the station changes at once. Outside, there are announcements, rolling suitcases, distant brakes, and voices moving under the glass roof. Inside, everything is quieter. Carpet softens the corridor. The lights are warm and low. The air smells faintly of clean linen, polished wood, and the heating system that has already begun working against the evening chill. You move down the narrow corridor, one hand lightly touching the rail as the train gives a small settling movement beneath your feet. Compartment numbers pass one by one. Your room is near the end of the carriage. You slide the door open and step inside. It is small, but beautifully ordered. A lower berth is made with a folded blanket and white pillow. A second berth rests above it, unused. There's a small table beneath the window, a reading lamp, hooks for a coat, a bottle of water, a folded towel, and a narrow mirror that reflects the warm light. The window is large enough to frame the platform outside like a moving picture, though for now nothing is moving except people. You place your bag on the shelf. You hang your coat. You sit on the lower berth and feel the mattress give gently beneath you. Outside the window, the platform glows. People walk past slowly, some searching for their carriage, some saying goodnight, some standing still for a final moment before departure. The rain has left soft reflections around their shoes. The train makes another small sound, a muted clink somewhere beneath the carriage, a breath through the ventilation, a low hum through the floor. The journey has not started, but the train is already becoming a place. Chapter 1. LEAVING, the city lights. The departure is almost too gentle to notice. There is no dramatic lurch, no sudden pull. Only a slight change in the hum beneath the floor, a soft release from the platform, and the slow beginning of motion. The station lights outside the window slide backward, first very slowly, then with a little more certainty. People on the platform become shapes. Benches pass, signs pass, a vending machine with bright colors passes and is gone. The glass roof moves above you in long dark panels. Then the train slips beyond it into open evening. The city receives the train quietly. For a while, you pass office buildings with lit windows, apartment balconies, bicycle paths, and streets shining from the earlier rain. Trams wait at crossings. A few cars pause behind lowered barriers. Their headlights create long golden lines on the wet road. In some windows, people are eating dinner. In others, lamps glow beside bookshelves and plants. The train moves through all of it without hurry. You sit by the window with the small table folded down. The reading lamp creates a circle of light around your hands. The glass reflects part of the compartment back to you. The blanket, the pillow, the wooden trim, the small bottle of water, your own outline softened by darkness. Beyond the reflection, the city continues to drift away. A conductor knocks gently and opens the door. He asks if everything is comfortable, checks whether you would like tea later, and reminds you that the carriage will be quieter after the next stop. His voice is low, professional, almost part of the train itself. When he leaves, the corridor returns to stillness. The city begins to thin. Buildings grow lower. Streets widen. The train passes warehouses, rail yards, quiet platforms, then neighborhoods where houses stand among dark gardens. The rain becomes finer against the window, almost mist. The wheels create a soft rhythm under the carriage. Not loud, not sharp, a steady pattern. Rail joint, soft sway, distant hum. Rail joint, soft sway, distant hum. You breathe with it for a while. The train crosses a river. The water below is black, except where city lights stretch across it in broken lines. For a moment, the carriage seems suspended between reflections. Warm light inside, wet light below, blue evening above. Then the bridge ends, and the rails return to solid ground. Farther ahead, the land begins to rise. You cannot see the Alps yet, not clearly, but the sky in that direction is darker, as if something large stands behind the clouds. The train follows the valley out of the city, and the glow behind you becomes smaller. You change into softer clothes for the night. The compartment is private enough to feel like a tiny room in motion. Shoes placed neatly under the berth. Coat hanging near the door. Bag closed on the shelf. The simple order of travel becomes soothing. Everything you need is within reach, and everything unnecessary can wait until morning. The rain strengthens briefly. Drops move sideways across the window as the train turns. They catch the compartment light and become silver threads. Then the train enters a short tunnel, and the window turns nearly black. The sound deepens around you, enclosed for half a minute by stone. When the train emerges, the city is gone. Only scattered lights remain now, small and distant, lying in the lower valley like embers. The night train continues toward the mountains. Chapter 2. The First Valley. The first valley opens slowly. The train has been climbing for some time, though the ascent is gentle enough that you notice it more in the changing weather than in the movement itself. The rain against the window has softened into wet flakes. They appear, disappear, and appear again in the light spilling from the carriage. At first they melt as soon as they touch the glass. Then, after another bend in the line, they begin to stay for a moment before sliding downward. Snow, not heavy yet, only the first sign that the city has been left behind. The valley is wide here. Dark fields spread on both sides of the tracks. Farmhouses stand with low roofs and warm kitchen lights. A few barns sit close to the road, their doors shut against the night. Fences move past in pale lines. The train passes a small station without stopping, and for one quiet moment, the platform appears beside you. A bench, a clock, a yellow lamp, and fresh snow beginning to gather along the edge. Then it is gone. Inside the compartment, the heating has settled into a comfortable warmth. You lower the shade halfway, not to close out the view, but to reduce the reflection. The window now frames the outside more clearly. The train curves along the valley wall, and you can see the line of carriages ahead, each one lit from within, bending gracefully through the dark. There is something deeply peaceful about a train scene from inside itself. You are not watching travel from a distance. You are part of it. The rails guide the movement. The carriages follow one another. The whole train becomes a single warm thread passing through cold country. A soft announcement plays in the corridor, first in one language, then another, then another. It names the next stop, thanks passengers, and reminds everyone that the sleeper carriage will remain quiet through the night. The voice fades, and the train continues. At the next village, the train slows, not fully stopping at first, just easing down until individual details outside become visible. A row of chalets above the station, snow on sloped roofs, a bakery sign unlit for the night, a church tower with a dark clock face, a road leading upward into trees. The platform lamps shine on falling snow, making each flake visible as it crosses the light. The train stops. The silence is surprising. When the wheels are still, the mountain night comes close around the carriage. You hear the faint hiss of air brakes, a door opening somewhere ahead, the muffled sound of boots on platform snow. No one boards your carriage. No one speaks loudly. A station worker raises one hand to the conductor. The door closes. Then the train begins again. The village slides away behind you. Its lights remain for a while in the lower window, then disappear around a curve. You sit back against the pillow. The berth is not yet folded for full sleep. It remains a seat for now, but soft enough to relax into. You take the bottle of water from the table and drink slowly. The carriage sways with a rhythm that feels almost like breathing. Outside, the valley narrows. The mountains are closer now. Their sides rise in dark walls beyond the fields, covered with forest and streaked with snow. High above, where the clouds break for a moment, you see a pale slope glowing faintly under hidden moonlight. Then the cloud closes again. The train enters another tunnel. This one is longer. The window becomes a mirror. The compartment appears around you, warm and quiet. The reading lamp, the folded blanket, the small table, your own face, softened by glass and motion. Behind the reflection, tunnel lights pass at regular intervals, golden streaks moving across darkness. The sound inside the tunnel deepens into a steady, enveloping rumble. It is not unpleasant. It is protective. Stone around the train, warmth inside, snow waiting outside. When the tunnel ends, the train emerges into a higher valley, and the snow is falling more clearly now. Chapter 3. Snow at the window. The snow changes the journey. Rain belongs to streets, roofs, umbrellas, station platforms, and city light. Snow belongs to quiet. As the train climbs deeper into the Alps, the landscape outside becomes slower, softer, and less certain at the edges. Fields lose their details. Roads become pale ribbons. Trees carry white along every branch. The train does not slow. It moves with calm confidence through the weather-following tracks that have crossed these mountains through countless winters. The windows are warm on the inside and cold on the outside. Now and then, snow brushes the glass and vanishes. At other moments, flakes seem to float beside the train, held in the light, moving with you for a few seconds before falling away. You make the compartment ready for the night. The blanket unfolds with a soft woolen weight. The pillow is moved closer to the window end of the berth. The reading lamp is dimmed. The main ceiling light is switched off, leaving only a warm glow near the table. Your shoes remain neatly below. The door is locked, the curtain drawn over the corridor window, and the outside world becomes the only moving thing. The conductor returns with tea. He sets it carefully on the small table, along with a wrapped biscuit and a folded card listing the morning arrival time. The tea steams gently. The cup is white, simple, and warm to hold. You thank him quietly. He nods and wishes you a peaceful night. When the door closes, the compartment feels even more private. You sip the tea. It tastes faintly of black leaves, lemon, and the clean taste that comes from drinking something warm while snow falls outside. The heat travels slowly down the throat and into the chest. The train sways. The wheels continue their soft pattern beneath you. Outside, the line runs beside a dark river. You see it only when the train passes close enough for the water to catch light. The river is narrow and fast, black between snow-covered banks. It follows the valley downward, while the train follows the valley upward, the two moving in opposite directions through the night. A bridge approaches. The train crosses it with a slightly different sound, more hollow, more open. For a moment, the river is directly below, flashing between the beams. Beyond it, a steep slope rises into pines. Snow clings to the trunks on the windward side. Higher still, the mountain disappears into cloud. The tea warms your hands. You lean back and let the scenery pass without nomming every part of it. There are villages now and then, a cluster of roofs, a church spire, a station lamp, a single car moving slowly along a snowy road, a window lit in a farmhouse, a ski lift motionless in the dark, a wooden bridge over a stream, a line of footprints crossing a platform. Each image appears briefly, complete and quiet, then disappears behind the train. The world outside does not need to be held. It can pass. You finish the tea and place the cup back on the table. The biscuit remains unopened. Maybe later, maybe not. The train has entered a rhythm now that is stronger than thought. The carriage rocks very gently. The rails hum. The heating whispers. Snow keeps arriving at the window. The night deepens. Chapter 4. The Long Tunnel. Near midnight, the train enters the long tunnel. You know it is coming before it begins, because the valley narrows sharply and the track curves toward a black opening in the mountainside. A few lights mark the entrance. Snow gathers thickly around the stone portal. Then the train slips inside, and the world outside disappears. The sound changes completely. The open hush of snow and valley becomes a deep, enclosed resonance. The rails sing more steadily. The carriage seems to draw inward around you. The window is no longer a view, but a dark mirror with tunnel lights passing like slow golden sparks. Inside the compartment, everything feels closer. The blanket over your legs, the cup on the table, the faint movement of the curtain, the soft pressure of the pillow behind your shoulder. The tunnel may last only minutes, but it changes time. Without the landscape to measure distance, the journey becomes pure motion. You are being carried through the mountain itself, not over it, not around it, but through its hidden dark. Above the train are layers of rock, snow, forest, and cloud. Outside, the carriage walls is stone. Inside is warmth. You turn off the reading lamp for a while. Now the only light comes from the small night lamp near the floor and the passing tunnel lamps outside. The compartment glows and fades, glows and fades. Your reflection in the window appears and disappears with each light. The rhythm becomes hypnotic. Tunnel light, darkness, rail hum, soft sway. Tunnel light, darkness, rail hum, soft sway. You lie down fully now. The berth is narrow but comfortable. The blanket reaches your shoulders. The pillow is cool at first, then warms. The train's movement is more noticeable lying down, but not disturbing. It is like being rocked gently by something much larger than yourself. For a while, you do not think of the destination. You think only of the train moving through the mountain. So many people have crossed these ranges before. Traders, shepherds, engineers, families, travelers, workers, students, dreamers, people leaving, people returning. Paths became roads. Roads became railways. Tunnels were cut through stone. Bridges were laid across ravines. Stations were built where valleys met. And now, in the deep night, you are part of that long movement through the Alps. The thought is comforting. Travel is not always about arrival. Sometimes it is about being carried by a route that existed before you and will continue after you. You do not have to hold the map in your mind. You do not have to know the mountain by name. You can trust the rails, the driver, the signals, the old work of many hands. The tunnel continues. The train remains steady. Your eyes close for a moment, then open again. In the dark window, your compartment floats like a small cabin in the earth. A cabin of wood, fabric, metal, and light, moving through black stone beneath the snow. Then, after a long while, the sound begins to open. The resonance loosens. The tunnel lights space farther apart. A pale glow appears ahead. The train emerges into the night on the other side of the mountain. Everything outside is white. Chapter 5. High alpine night. On the far side of the tunnel, the Alps feel higher and closer. Snow covers everything now. The tracks run along a ledge above a valley so deep that its floor is hidden in darkness. Across the open space, mountain slopes rise in broad, pale forms under clouded moonlight. Forests appear as black brushstrokes on the white land. The sky has cleared just enough to show a few stars between moving clouds. The train seems quieter here. Perhaps the snow absorbs sound. Perhaps the hour has made the world softer. Perhaps you are simply more relaxed now, lying under the blanket while the night unfolds outside the glass. A small alpine station appears unexpectedly. It is high, remote, and almost empty. The train slows beside a platform edged with snowbanks. A wooden shelter stands under a steep roof. A clock glows under an eave. Beyond the station, a few houses climb the slope, their windows warm and small. Smoke or mist rises from one chimney, then disappears into the cold. The train stops. No announcement is needed here. The place is too quiet for one. A single passenger steps off from a carriage ahead, carrying a backpack. Someone waits under the station roof and raises a hand. The two figures meet without hurry. The train remains still for less than a minute, but the scene feels complete. A high station, snow falling lightly, someone arriving home in the middle of the night. Then the doors close. The train moves on. You watch the platform drift away. Its lamp becomes smaller, then slips behind a curve and is gone. The track now follows a mountainside. At times, the valley drops away close beside the train, and you see only darkness below. At other times, the line passes through short galleries built into the slope. Their arched openings, flashing views of snow and rock between walls of stone. The train crosses another bridge. This one is higher. You feel the sound change under the wheels before you see the depth below. The bridge carries the train over a ravine where a stream moves black and silver under ice. Snow rests on the bridge railings. The mountains on both sides seem to hold the train between them for a breath. Then the bridge ends. The train enters forest. Tall pines stand close to the tracks, their branches so heavy with snow that they bend low, almost touching the passing windows. The carriage light reflects on the nearest branches, turning them briefly golden, then letting them fall back into blue darkness. It feels as though the train is passing through a sleeping forest without waking it. You pull the blanket a little higher. The compartment remains warm, but the sight of all that snow makes warmth more noticeable. You feel the difference between inside and outside as a kind of gratitude. Inside, wool pillow tea, quiet light. Outside, mountain, snow, forest, night. The train belongs to both. It is a warm thing, moving through a cold world. You begin to drift, not fully asleep yet, but close. The mountains no longer need to be watched carefully. They can pass in fragments, a slope, a pine, a bridge, A lamp, a roof, a star, a tunnel mouth, another curve. The rails keep their rhythm. The train keeps its promise. Chapter 6. The dining car after midnight. Sometime after midnight, you wake softly and decide to walk to the dining car, not because you are hungry exactly, more because the train has invited one last quiet movement before sleep. You put on your shoes, take your cardigan or sweater from the hook, and open the compartment door carefully. The corridor is dim. Most compartments are closed. Thin lines of light show beneath only a few doors. The carriage sways gently as you walk, one hand following the rail. At the end of the sleeper car, the connecting door opens with a soft push, and the sound of the train becomes briefly louder between carriages. Then you step into the next car. The dining car is nearly empty. A few small lamps glow along the tables. The bar counter is closed, except for a low light behind glass shelves. Two passengers sit near the far end, speaking quietly over cups of tea. A staff member writes something in a notebook. Outside the windows, the Alps move by in darkness and snow. You choose a table by the window. The seat is upholstered in deep fabric, worn smooth by many travelers. The table has a small shaded lamp fixed to one side. A menu card stands in a metal holder, though at this hour only a few things are available. Tea, hot chocolate, still water, bread, soup, perhaps, if the kitchen has kept some warm. You order hot chocolate. It arrives in a heavy cup, dark and fragrant, with steam rising into the lamplight. You wrap both hands around it and look outside. The dining car gives the journey another feeling. In the compartment, the train is private and inward. Here, it is communal but still calm. A few strangers sharing the same night route through the mountains. No one asks too much of anyone. Everyone speaks softly because the hour itself asks for quiet. The train passes through another small town. Only a few lights are visible. A station sign flashes by too quickly to read. Snow lies on parked cars, on balconies, on the flat tops of stone walls. A church tower appears against the mountain, then vanishes. Somewhere above the town, a line of dark trees marks the beginning of the forest. The hot chocolate is rich and warm. You drink slowly. The staff member lowers the lights a little more. The two passengers at the far table stand, nod good night, and leave the car. For a few minutes, you are alone in the dining car, except for the quiet person behind the counter and the train itself. The windows are larger here. They show more of the night. A wide valley opens outside, filled with snow and moonlit cloud. The mountains rise beyond it in layers, some sharp, some softened by distance. The train follows a curve, and for a moment you can see the locomotive's light touching snow ahead. It feels like watching a lantern lead you through a dream. You finish the cup. There is no need to stay longer. The body is ready to return to the compartment. The train has offered its midnight warmth, and you have received it. You walk back through the quiet carriages. The corridor seems even softer now. The sway of the train is familiar under your feet. When you reach your compartment, the small room welcomes you with its folded blanket, dim lamp, and dark window. You close the door. The private world returns. Outside, the Swiss Alps continue passing in silence. Chapter 7. The Rhythm of the Train. Now the journey becomes mostly rhythm. You settle under the blanket again, warmer from the short walk and the hot chocolate. The pillow has kept the shape of your earlier rest. The lamp is turned lower than before. The window shade remains open enough to show the outside, but not enough to keep the room bright. The train moves through alternating darkness and snowlight. Sometimes there are tunnels, and the window becomes black. Sometimes there are open slopes, and the world outside becomes pale. Sometimes there are villages, asleep under roofs of snow. Sometimes there is only forest, close and dark. You no longer try to separate them. Tunnel, snow, village, forest, bridge, valley, tunnel again. All of it becomes one continuous night journey. The sound of the train is steady enough to lean on. A low vibration through the berth, a soft shift at each curve, a distant rail song beneath the floor, the faintest creak of the compartment walls, the whisper of heating air. Each sound is small, but together they make a cradle. Your thoughts begin to loosen. They no longer arrive as tasks or plans. They become images from the journey. The station roof glowing in the city, the river bridge, the first snow at the window, the long tunnel, the high platform where one person stepped into the night, the dining car lamp, the hot chocolate, the locomotive light curving ahead through snowfall. The train carries these images for you. You do not need to keep them organized. You can let them pass like scenery. Outside, the mountains are vast, but they do not feel heavy. They feel protective now. Dark slopes, snowfields, forests, ridges, and hidden villages surround the train. The world is large, but the compartment is small. Small in the best way. Small enough to be warm. Small enough to be simple. Small enough to let sleep come near. You turn onto your side. The blanket shifts with a soft sound. The pillow settles under your cheek. The window is just above you now, and through it, you can see snowflakes crossing the glass in long diagonal lines. They appear in the carriage light and vanish into darkness. There is nowhere you need to be until morning. The schedule exists, but you do not have to hold it. The train will keep time. The train will follow the rails. The train will pass the signals, the tunnels, the bridges, the stations, and the valleys. You can rest. For a while, you remain just awake enough to feel the motion. Then even that becomes soft. The rhythm of the train becomes the rhythm of sleep. Chapter 8. Dawn beyond the pass. Dawn begins somewhere beyond the high pass. You wake only a little, not fully, because the light has changed behind your closed eyes. The compartment is still dim, window is no longer black. A pale blue-gray glow has entered the room. The train is still moving. The blanket is warm. The pillow is soft. The rails continue their quiet song. You open your eyes slowly. Outside, the world is morning, but not yet day. The train runs through a broad alpine valley covered in fresh snow. The mountains on both sides are visible now, immense and calm, their upper slopes touched by the first faint light. Clouds lie low between peaks. A river winds beside the track, partly frozen along its edges. Small villages rest under white roofs, with smoke rising from a few chimneys. The night journey has carried you far. The city where you boarded feels distant now, almost part of another day. The rain, the station roof, the platform lights, the departure board, all of it has been transformed by motion and sleep into memory. Here, the air outside looks clean and cold. The snow has stopped falling. The train passes a field where dark wooden barns stand on stone bases. It passes a road where only one set of tire tracks marks the morning. It passes a line of trees whose branches shine faintly with frost. The mountains hold all of it in a gentle stillness. You do not need to get up yet. The arrival is still some time away. The conductor has not knocked. The morning card on the table remains folded. The compartment remains yours for a little longer. So you stay under the blanket and watch. A village station approaches. The train slows. Morning light fills the platform. A few people wait in winter coats, their breath visible in the cold. One person holds a paper bag from a bakery. Another carries skis. A child in a red hat stands close to an adult, looking at the train with sleepy curiosity. The train stops. Doors open. Cold air enters somewhere down the carriage, though only faintly into your room. Voices speak quietly. A suitcase rolls. Someone laughs softly. The day is beginning for them, while your night journey is slowly ending. The train starts again. The platform moves away. You feel grateful for the simple fact of being carried through the night and delivered into morning without needing to do anything but rest. The Alps are brighter now. Sunlight touches one high ridge, turning it rose gold for a few moments. Below, the valley remains blue. The contrast is gentle and beautiful. Warm light above, cold shadow below, the train moving between them. You sit up slightly and take a sip of water. The compartment feels lived in now. Blanket loosened, cup empty, bag on the shelf, shoes below. Window marked faintly where condensation formed during the night. A small private history of travel. Soon you will gather your things. Not yet. For now, there is still the moving train, the morning Alps, and the softness that remains after good sleep. Final descent, carried through the Alps. Now let the journey become softer. The night train has crossed the mountains. The long tunnels are behind you. The high stations are quiet in memory. The snowy villages have passed one by one. The dining car lamps have dimmed. The teacup is empty. The blanket is warm. The rails continue beneath you. There is nothing more to follow now. The train knows the way. You are lying in the small sleeper compartment, wrapped in warmth, while the Swiss Alps move slowly beyond the window. Morning has not fully arrived. The sky is pale. The mountains are blue. Snow rests on roofs, fields, trees, bridges, and distant slopes. Inside, the compartment is still. The pillow supports your head. The blanket rests over your shoulders. The lamp glows softly. The corridor is quiet. The window holds the passing world. Breathe in slowly. Warm air, wool, and tea. Breathe out. The body settles. Breathe in. Snowlight at the window. Breathe out. The train carries you. Let your feet rest. They do not need to walk the platform now. They do not need to climb stairs or cross streets. They can be still beneath the blanket. Let your legs grow heavy. They do not need to balance against the movement. The train rocks gently enough to hold them. Let your back soften. Let your shoulders lower. Let your hands rest wherever they are warm. Let your face become calm. Outside the window, another field passes, then a line of trees, then a bridge, then a quiet road, then snow, then mountains. You do not need to remember each one. They can pass without being held. Thoughts can pass the same way. A thought appears like a lamp in a distant village. It glows for a moment, then the train carries you beyond it. A memory appears like a bridge over a dark river. You cross it gently, then it is behind you. A worry appears like a tunnel entrance. The train enters. The sound deepens. Then light returns on the other side. Everything moves. Everything softens. Everything can be carried by the train. You do not need to arrive yet. You do not need to wake fully. You do not need to know the exact station, the exact valley, the exact hour. For now, there is only this small, warm room and the steady rhythm beneath it. Rail hum, soft sway, breath in, breath out. Rail hum, soft sway, breath in, breath out. The Alps stand quietly outside. They do not ask you to look. They do not ask you to climb. They only remain vast and calm while the train moves through them. Let sleep come the way snow comes to the mountains. Gently, without effort, one soft layer at a time. Let it settle over the body. Let it settle over the mind. Let it cover the last small thoughts. Let it quiet the last sounds of the day. The train is warm. The window is darkening again behind your eyes. The blanket is heavy. The pillow is soft. The rails are steady. You are safe to rest, safe to drift, safe to be carried. And as the night train continues through the Swiss Alps, through snowlight and tunnels, through valleys and sleeping villages, you can let everything become distant, gentle, and quiet. Nothing more is needed. Only the rhythm, only the warmth, only the train moving softly through the mountains while sleep arrives. carriage gives one slow, gentle sway, and then another. The motion is never enough to disturb you. It is only enough to remind the body that it is being carried by something steady, something old, something that knows the mountain route in darkness and in snow. Outside, the snowfields pass in pale silence. Fences appear and vanish. A dark barn stands for a moment in the window, then slips away. The mountains keep their patient shapes beyond everything, blue and calm beneath the early light. The compartment remains warm and simple. A blanket, a pillow, a dim lamp, a folded coat, a quiet door, a window filled with passing Alps. Nothing here asks to be solved. Nothing asks to be remembered. It is enough to rest inside the movement. Another tunnel comes and goes. For a little while, the window turns black, and the train becomes a small room inside the mountain. Then the sound opens again, and snowlight returns, soft and wide and peaceful. Let the rhythm become slower in your mind than it is on the rails. Let each sound stretch gently. Let the hum become a lullaby. Let the sway become a cradle. Let the journey continue without effort. The carriage gives one slow, gentle sway, and then another. The motion is never enough to disturb you. It is only enough to remind the body that it is being carried by something steady, something old, something that knows the mountain route in darkness and in snow. Outside, the snowfields pass in pale silence. Fences appear and vanish. A dark barn stands for a moment in the window, then slips away. The mountains keep their patient shapes beyond everything, blue and calm beneath the early light. The compartment remains warm and simple. A blanket, a pillow, a dim lamp, a folded coat, a quiet door, a window filled with passing Alps. Nothing here asks to be solved. Nothing asks to be remembered. It is enough to rest inside the movement. Another tunnel comes and goes. For a little while, the window turns black, and the train becomes a small room inside the mountain. Then the sound opens again, and snowlight returns, soft and wide and peaceful. Let the rhythm become slower in your mind than it is on the rails. Let each sound stretch gently. Let the hum become a lullaby. Let the sway become a cradle. Let the journey continue without effort. The carriage gives one slow, gentle sway, and then another. The motion is never enough to disturb you. It is only enough to remind the body that it is being carried by something steady, something old, something that knows the mountain route in darkness and in snow. Outside, the snowfields pass in pale silence. Fences appear and vanish. A dark barn stands for a moment in the window, then slips away. The mountains keep their patient shapes beyond everything, blue and calm beneath the early light. The compartment remains warm and simple. A blanket, a pillow, a dim lamp, a folded coat, a quiet door, a window filled with passing Alps. Nothing here asks to be solved. Nothing asks to be remembered. It is enough to rest inside the movement. Another tunnel comes and goes. For a little while, the window turns black, and the train becomes a small room inside the mountain. Then the sound opens again, and snowlight returns, soft and wide and peaceful. Let the rhythm become slower in your mind than it is on the rails. Let each sound stretch gently. Let the hum become a lullaby. Let the sway become a cradle. Let the journey continue without effort. The carriage gives one slow, gentle sway, and then another. The motion is never enough to disturb you. It is only enough to remind the body that it is being carried by something steady, something old, something that knows the mountain route in darkness and in snow. Outside, the snowfields pass in pale silence. Fences appear and vanish. A dark barn stands for a moment in the window, then slips away. The mountains keep their patient shapes beyond everything, blue and calm beneath the early light. The compartment remains warm and simple. A blanket, a pillow, a dim lamp, a folded coat, a quiet door, a window filled with passing Alps. Nothing here asks to be solved. Nothing asks to be remembered. It is enough to rest inside the movement. Another tunnel comes and goes. For a little while, the window turns black, and the train becomes a small room inside the mountain. Then the sound opens again, and snowlight returns, soft and wide and peaceful. Let the rhythm become slower in your mind than it is on the rails. Let each sound stretch gently. Let the hum become a lullaby. Let the sway become a cradle. Let the journey continue without effort. The carriage gives one slow, gentle sway, and then another. The motion is never enough to disturb you. It is only enough to remind the body that it is being carried by something steady, something old, something that knows the mountain route in darkness and in snow. Outside, the snowfields pass in pale silence. Fences appear and vanish. A dark barn stands for a moment in the window, then slips away. The mountains keep their patient shapes beyond everything, blue and calm beneath the early light. The compartment remains warm and simple. A blanket, a pillow, a dim lamp, a folded coat, a quiet door, a window filled with passing Alps. Nothing here asks to be solved. Nothing asks to be remembered. It is enough to rest inside the movement. Another tunnel comes and goes. For a little while, the window turns black, and the train becomes a small room inside the mountain. Then the sound opens again, and snowlight returns, soft and wide and peaceful. Let the rhythm become slower in your mind than it is on the rails. Let each sound stretch gently. Let the hum become a lullaby. Let the sway become a cradle. Let the journey continue without effort. The carriage gives one slow, gentle sway, and then another. The motion is never enough to disturb you. It is only enough to remind the body that it is being carried by something steady, something old, something that knows the mountain route in darkness and in snow.